What is up, guys? Welcome back to YouTube Burlick for another ranking, and this is going to be one that we haven't really done a lot of rap content on this channel, so let's do one today for who is probably my second favorite rapper of all time. My number one is Eminem, but my number two favorite is the man that was part of, making this 10 out of 10 collaboration album, Kids See Ghosts. Yeah, we're talking about Kanye West today, so that's great. My second favorite rapper of all time. And, Kanye West, Bully was supposed to come out at the end of January when I'm filming this. I'm filming this on, the 28th? So, it's supposed to come out on the 30th, but it just got delayed for March 20th, I believe. So, Bully, no, we're not counting that. We're just doing his albums because I don't know if Bully's ever going to come out, but love Kids See Ghosts. Sorry to say, but we are not including collaboration albums, so Kids See Ghosts, 10 out of 10 album. It would probably win, but we cannot include it. I'm sorry to say. So yeah, Kanye West, you can say what you want about him, as a person, but though he has gone completely insane over the last 5 years, you like to separate the, the art from the artist. And even before then, I feel like he was pretty much a cool guy, even if he did get controversial at times. But we're not talking about him as a person. We were talking about Kanye's music. No collaboration albums, just pure albums. I believe I have 11 in this ranking, just as pure studio solo albums. I will, after the intro, go over his collaboration albums just quickly, maybe a bit of a ranking of those, but yeah, just as pure solo studio albums. So yeah, consider checking out my band, Bowls Cream of Wheat. I always link my band in the description. And yeah, Kanye West, let's get into it. He just released his apology, but you always got to separate the art from the artist. Let's get into the ranking after the intro.
Here you go.
And before we begin our ranking, here is just a list of Kanye's collaborative albums and also his one compilation album with good music. And these are albums that we will not be including. And there are 11 total albums that I will be including here for solo stuff. So no Bully and none of these. So 11 albums we will be ranking. If I were to rank these, though, this would be the ranking. Pretty standard stuff. Let's actually get into it now. And in last place is Jesus is King from 2019. And this album, people try to act like this is a bad album, and it is not a bad album. It's very short, and I believe the first half of this track list especially is really weak, but it has some great songs, and on the Life of Pablo, Kanye did go more gospel, a couple non-explicit songs, a lot of the choirs implemented, but man, this album, obviously full gospel. This is full Christian rap, and yeah, no cursing on the album, and just overall, just quite a few just good songs, and then a couple bad, pretty much just mid though. And again, it's a very short album, so it's not like you're, getting too much that's bad or anything. But this album, I feel like, is just kind of a mid album from him. He was in a good place at the time, obviously where that went. But for highlights, I mean, the tracks God Is and Use This Gospel are two very good songs. I don't think they're immaculate, but they are very good songs. And the closer on this album, Jesus is Lord, that is probably my favorite song in this album. And what sucks is that, yeah, it's only 50 seconds. The lyrics are great. Kanye singing actually sounds really good there. And the horns are just magnificent. My voice cracked talking about it because it's an incredible song. I just wish they made it longer. But it's still a great song. And it closed on Sunday. I don't know why that was a single. It's just a pretty boring song. Hands On, not great either. Every Hour is a good song, but that's barely Kanye. That's just like the Sunday service choir. So, pretty mediocre, but it's solid Christian rap. I'll give it to him. And coming in here at number 9 is 2008's 808s and Heartbreak. Yeah, Kanye clearly had a rough time in his life, which is obvious, death of his mother, a lot of other issues, But this album, Kanye went from just kind of old school rap on his first two albums to, stadium anthems on the third one to whatever this album is. And, this album, though probably less consistently mediocre than Jesus is King, because the song has 3 or 4 highlights that are some of the best Kanye has ever done. I just think that this album is not cohesive. Very front-loaded, and the fact that he doesn't curse on here, it's not a bad thing, but it's also he clearly upped his game with lyrics, on his other albums. He didn't curse on later in his career. This album, the lack of cursing kind of makes it feel like, oh wait, he's kind of struggling lyrically, which is very rare for Kanye, but it does happen here. And yeah, what sucks about this album is that it is very, very front-loaded, and it starts off great. Say You Will. That is a great song. Just very electronic, just very lo-fi. And then the last 3 minutes of the song, all instrumental. Very great song. I love that song. Welcome to Heartbreak, very good song as well. And Heartless, truly one of the greatest songs of all time. Incredible chorus. The auto-tune is great. And this album has one of the biggest influences on rap and overall music ever. This album's influence is unprecedented. It's just sad that the actual album itself is really not that great. And I just thought those first 3 songs were very good. And then everything else, aside from one song that we'll get to, but most of the things after that just get very rough. RoboCop, very bad, cheesy song. Streetlights, I think, is overrated. See You in My Nightmares, despite having Lil Wayne, it's not good. And yeah, after a very good start, again with another all-time song in Heartless, those songs really do kind of bring the sound down by a lot. And I just think, yeah, it is greatly produced, but also at the same time, it can get a bit sound samey. But then there's Coldest Winter, and that is another one of my favorite Kanye West songs of all time. And it might be the fact that, yeah, this song interpolates Tears for Fears, Memories Fade. You know, my second favorite artist of all time, Tears for Fears. Roland Orzabal in the credits, my goat. But Coldest Winter is truly a great song. I think the lyrics are phenomenal. And of course, just Kanye's vocal performance is very good. And the Memories Fade, you know, having that as the chorus, having the synths going too, great. And Pinocchio Story, kind of a live freestyle to end off the album. I think it's a pretty nothing song. So this album, it's not bad, but I just think if, like, it just took a little bit more time to work on for Kanye, and if they were able to spread out the track list, it could be a lot better. So just a prime example of why you do not front load albums, because there's 4 great songs in here, but 3 of them right at the beginning. And again, though these albums might be low, please note, these are not bad albums at all. And this next take here, probably the hottest take I've ever had on my channel in its history. I'm sorry, please don't kill me. Yes, I'm not Anthony Fantano, I promise. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy from 2010. Probably the hottest take I've ever had on this channel. I've had a couple pretty hot progressive rock takes, but that's about it. I really am not like a hot takes, you know, enjoyer, but My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. One of the highest acclaimed, most grandiose, magnum opuses of all time. I mean, this album, man, I had pretty high hopes going into it, and all I can say is that I do 2 listens of each of these albums and go give more listens if I feel like I need to. But at the end of my second listen, I literally was like this. Wow. That was not good. And it's, again, not a bad album. Obviously not a bad album. It's one of the best produced albums of all time. But I just think it is so overrated. And I could go down this entire track list. And I could say this, yeah. Power with the King Crimson sample. That is one of my favorite songs of all time. I absolutely love Power. All of the Lights is great. Devil in a New Dress, Runaway, 2 of the greatest songs of all time. Those are iconic as well. Everything else, I think this album is so overblown. I think that there are some of the worst lyrics of all time on here. I'm looking at you, Monster. Looking at you, So Appalled. And Chris Rock's skit at the end of Blame Game. For the people that act like this is the greatest album of all time, which it's not, I'm sorry to tell you. But for the people that act like it is, they still admit that Chris Rock's skit is historically bad. One of the worst lines I've ever heard. And yeah, Chris Rock, truly an awful line at the end of Blame Game, which Blame Game is not an awful song, but it's that skit, man. It's horrible. I could show you some of the lyrics, and that's what we're going to do. I just do think that this album is really overblown, but again, like Power, perfect song. All the Lights, love all the features on it, and there's a historically great feature list on here, but it just doesn't really work with the overblown production and with just like some of these all-time bad lyrics. Let's take a look at those. Yeah, I'm not even going to sing this one. You guys can pause and read if you want.
Oh yeah. Have you ever had sex with the pharaoh? Put the he puts it in a sarcophagus. Oh jeez.
You guys get the point. For a rapper who has historically been very obsessed with, you know, intimate times in his lyrics, this album is the worst he's ever been with it, and I do truly think these are some of the worst lyrics of all time. I'm sorry, but it's true, and it's so distracting on this album. A couple of elite highlights and so many great samples and features on here, of course, but yeah, historically overrated. I kind of view this as Kanye West's Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. That is for the Beatles, because it's like all time his most and the Beatles' most acclaimed albums. But you really get down to the basics of the album. For both of their albums, the Beatles and Kanye's, they're both overblown production-wise and are just like compared to some of the other respective artists' albums, very weak crop of tracks. So I think this album is kind of like the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's. Let's move on though. Yes, I actually did it. I'm putting Donda from 2021 higher than My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. But you can try to hear me out here. Just try and deal with hot takes like a mature person. Because remember, the reason we do these rankings are to show off my opinion and what I think about the music, but also to comment yours so we can share and, you know, get constructive, you know, reviews and criticism of these albums and constructive conversation. But Donda, you know, the 27-track album, even though the part 2s are pretty meaningless, this album has Probably about 5 awful songs, but the rest, it actually surprised me. Very, very good. Christian rap again. So, no cursing. Couple of songs when there's like bleeped out or like silenced cursing, but there's actually just no curse words on this album. And this album, Donda chant, really stupid. I don't know why it exists. It's actually just so dumb. But a lot of great songs in here. I truly do think that. Jail, very nice song to start out the album. And then, of course, like my highlights off here, Off the Grid, Hurricane, Praise God, 24, Heaven and Hell, Jesus Lord, a progressive rap song, one of my favorites. And the introspective and beautiful Come to Life, like Jesus Lord and Come to Life, 10 out of 10 songs. Those are my favorite on this album, those 2 songs. But yeah, like this album has a lot of features, obviously. It's very, very long. But I do think that though the songs like Jonah, Okay Okay, Junya, Television, those 4 songs are crap, like really bad. I think aside from those 4 songs, this album is like all good to elite, as I said, Jesus Lord and Come to Life being elite songs. And this album, like, I wasn't really expecting much going into it, but it has great highlights. Production's phenomenal, and I just think that Kanye clearly still in a decent place here, which is surprising. A lot of good things about the album, and even if it has a couple of weak tracks, it's 27 tracks long. So you're bound to get a couple of weak or not good songs, and yeah, just the lyrics on here are truly elite. I was really caught off guard and surprised by how good it is, and Jesus Lord Come to Life, probably 2 top 15 songs, in my opinion, in Kanye's discography. So yeah, a lot of great progressive rap stuff, and that's really cool. And number 6, we have from 2016, so that lines up a little bit. We have Kanye's first kind of, toe dip into gospel with The Life of Pablo, an album that was notoriously mixed really bad, and even after the redux, it still wasn't mixed and produced the best, but it's fine because it has some of his best on here, and I do quite like the album. I think it's very good. 20 songs, maybe a bit long at times, and a couple, just like Donda, awful tracks. But I just think that the lyrics on here are heavily improved. And I just love the choirs and all that kind of gospel elements added to it. Because you open up with, of course, Ultra Light Beam, one of his best songs. And then Father Stretch My Hands Part 1, which is just beautiful. Of course, it has, the Bleach line from Kanye. But it's less jarring now. And it's more just kind of like funny and fun. And I just think it is a beautiful song. I would give it a 10 out of 10. It's just such a great time. And Part 2, with all those different, like songs mixed into it, it's pretty mid. But the songs, Part 2, Freestyle 4, which I think is horrible. Like, Freestyle 4 is just awful. And Facts are pretty bad. But I think aside from that, pretty good stuff. Because, again, Ultra Light Beam, Father Stretch My Hands. And probably my other favorite on this album, St. Pablo, just an epic lyrical banger to close out the album. And Real Friends, pretty good song. Wolves, an epic song with some great vocals. And, of course, No More Parties in LA with Kendrick Lamar, if you've heard of him. I just think overall, a lot of great tracks in here. There's only 2 or 3 bad ones, and I just think really improved lyricism, so good for him. This is a very good album, and now we enter the top half of the list. I really wanted to put this album higher, but number 5 is as high as I can go. And since his name is technically Ye now, this is the self-titled Kanye West album, Ye, from 2018, and only 7 tracks, just like Kids See Ghosts. It was, Kanye's crazy 2018 run. Possibly what I would call my favorite era from him. And this album, as everybody knows, underrated, and all killer, no filler. Even if I don't think All Mine is the best, we can just say all killer, no filler, because it's not a bad song. This album, though, starts out with I Thought About Killing You, which took me quite a few listens to get into, but I think it actually goes pretty hard now, especially the second and third sections of the track. And then just like Yikes, Wouldn't Leave, No Mistakes, very great songs. But then this album ends off with Ghost Town and Violent Crimes, 2 10 out of 10 songs. Some of my favorite songs that already invoke some nostalgia into me despite being a kid. Anyone can get nostalgia, though, let's be real, at any age, but these songs bring back memories already. I just think that Ghost Town, Violent Crimes, some of the best rapping, vocal performances, production on a Kanye song. And again, all killer, no filler. Really not much to say about Ye. I just love 7-track albums. I love this album cover too. The iconic line, I hate being bipolar, it's awesome. The beautiful mountain view. And it has Ghost Town and Violent Crimes to close it out. So how can you not love this album? It is truly like a pretty perfect album. So all I got to say about it, Ye. And here we have the album that started it all. The little Chicago producer, rapper, The College Dropout from 2004. And, from the true diehard, OG Day One Kanye fans, this is probably always going to be the number 1. And it is just classic. Wikipedia calls it chipmunk rap. But truly iconic album cover with iconic songs like All Falls Down, Spaceship, Through the Wire. I mean, this album is great, and it's pretty much a blast to listen to. Even the more lyrical tracks, which were never my favorite on his original albums, like Get 'Em High and the New Workout Plan, those aren't my least favorite songs in here, but they're not bad. The skits on here, pretty fun as well, and I just think that, yeah, this is a good album, and it's an absolute classic. All Falls Down, just love the guitar, love the vocals, of course, from, what is it, Selena Easton, something like that. Spaceship, what a track. And Never Let Me Down, which I saw some people actually saying was the worst song, non-skit on the album. I completely disagree, love that song. And also the closer on here, Last Call. Like, it's what, 12 minutes long? Most of it's an actual song too, like barely any just talking. And I love the chorus on it. I love the lyrics, and I love like the story. I love Last Call, and it's probably actually my favorite song on this album. I don't really have much to say for this album. It's classic, great lyrics, tons of fun, and really just no bad tracks. The College Dropout is one of the most classic rap albums of all time, and will probably remain to be. Has it been a bit dated? I'd argue yes. That really doesn't matter. I don't want to, crap on it in any way, because it is darn near perfect. And at number 3, he got 2005's Late Registration, and now some people underrate this album these days. Maybe it's just because the fact Gold Digger is not really my favorite song, and most people can kind of agree with that now. It's probably one of his weakest hits. Still a pretty fun song, though. But, yeah, this is probably another hot take for me, but I just think that Late Registration improves on literally everything compared to the College Dropout. If College Dropout was good to great at everything, Late Registration's elite at everything. Whether it's rapping performances or just instrumental variety and just overall performances, especially from Kanye, because he kills it on here. This album, great skits again, a lot of fun again, chipmunk rap again, and that's like what this album is. So many great highlights on here. Touch the Sky. Lupe Fiasco kills it on here, and you gotta love the horns. Oh my gosh, that's my favorite song this album, even if it's a default pick. Bring Me Down. Of course, the classic, Diamonds from Sierra Leone. Wow. And then We Major. I mean, that's a pretty progressive rap kind of song. And yeah. Gone, pretty good closer as well. The only tracks in here I'm not thrilled with are, again, the more lyrical songs from his early era, Crack Music and Addiction, which just, Kanye's earlier era lyrical songs just don't really resonate with me, but they can for other people, so it's just kind of just like a me thing, but this album, great, so well produced, so much fun, as you can say, for every single early Kanye album, and it kind of ends, his first 2 albums were just kind of like classic chipmunk rap. Because, after this, he started making stadium bangers and then completely different music. But Late Registration, great album. I don't know why it has been kind of underrated of recent. I feel like a lot of people in the rankings put it down like at number 6. I don't think that's true. It's really, really great. This is another classic, too.
Oh my gosh, Kanye West sucks. He's a horrible person, he does so many things wrong, and here's the thing, he hasn't even made a good song in decades.
Yeah, but he made Graduation. Graduation from 2007, Kanye West's most popular album, when he went from going, conscious hip-hop, normal chipmunk rap, to stadium anthems, and truly made what I think is a perfect album. This is all classics on here. Well, maybe not a perfect album, because Drunken Hot Girl is a truly awful song. And people always point out Barry Bonds for being a bad song. It's not a bad song. Drunken Hot Girls is the only bad song on this album. But yeah, the production on here, the performances, it's so great. And he went from making long albums with skits to just a straight, just banging album with so many, just hit after hit, and it just keeps punching you in the face. Opens up with Good Morning, one of his best beats, some of his best verses on there. Champion, incredible beat. And Stronger, hot take here, never been the biggest fan of Stronger. The issue is I hate Daft Punk, so it's kind of just like, that's another hot take right there. But Stronger's like still a good song, but I think the Daft Punk part just kind of mentally checks me out. But then I wonder, is that my favorite song on this album? It might be. Perfect song. Like, I wonder, 2023, when that song was viral, that summer when it was viral, oh my gosh, I remember being on vacation with Zach, one of my Bulls Movie bandmates, and that song just kept playing. And that song gives me great memories from that time, and it's also just a beautifully made track with, the sample and everything. It's so great. Oh my gosh. And when, the beat cuts out and it's just, those synths at, 2.5 minutes? Beautiful. Oh my gosh. Flashing Lights, of course. Everything I Am, that's another one of my favorites. Homecoming with Chris Martin from Coldplay. Coldplay ranking, I'm probably going to end up doing my next 5 rankings. I think Homecoming and I Wonder are my favorite songs on this album. But Graduation, it's a classic. Only one bad song. Everything else in here is great. Good Night, Big Brother, The Glory, oh my gosh, so good. And everyone knows it, Whenever Kanye gets hated on, everyone's always like, but he made Graduation, and that's because it is so good. It's another classic. Well, if you want to talk about hot takes, this one might not be as hot as my one on, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, but my favorite Kanye West album is Yeezus, and this is a perfect album, and it's probably in my top, 4 favorite rap albums of all time. Yeah, Yeezus, oh my gosh. Just, one of the best produced albums of all time. If you learn about how to produce stuff, you'll go back to this album, and you will be in awe, because it is produced so good. And it has probably my 2 favorite Kanye West songs, those being Black Skinhead and Bound 2. Probably. I mean, both those songs, I'm just going to talk about those 2 songs for a minute, okay? My 2 favorite tracks he ever made. Because Black Skinhead, my Pennsylvania Penalty Shots League, that was our theme song for the last 2 years in the playoffs. The intro, the hype video, we use that song because it's so good. Just the drum fills. Even if, said Romans instead of Spartans, it's fine. Okay, we'll ignore some of the lyrics on here that are just bad on this album. Because there are a couple bad ones. The Parkinson's line too. But aside from that, what else do you have to say? Just Black Skinhead pumps me up every time. Incredible vocal performance. That beat is phenomenal with the drum fills and the no. You know what I'm talking about. Black Skinhead is just probably, again, my favorite Kanye West song. And then there's also Bound 2. Just all-time great verses. Such a fun song. A lot less experimental and in your face than everything else on this album. But it's just so great, with the sample, of course. Gets so epic there. And the other sample, the Bound to Falling in Love. Just beautiful all around. Great lyrics. So fun. Those are my 2 favorite tracks they ever did. The B songs. And also Blood on the Leaves too. And this album opens up with On Sight. And just love the distortion. Love the, we only get what we want sample. It's just such a good song. All the samples on this album just go so hard. Hold My Liquor. New Slaves. Everything on here I think is really, really good. I really don't think there's a bad song. It's produced historically good. It is my 2 favorite songs he ever has made. And just the fact that it goes so hard, it's so in your face, so aggressive, I absolutely love that. As you guys know, I'm obviously a metal fan. And there's just really not much to hate on this album. I know some people really have strong opinions badly on this album. But over the last couple of years, this album has gained a strong following for being a sleeper top 3 pick for Kanye's best albums. And I think it is my favorite one. Own it on CD. Love it. Has my 2 favorite songs he ever made. I gotta stop rambling about it, but everything about this album, I just think hits so hard, right in your face. Again, just like Graduation, just punches you, hit after hit. So, yeah, Yeezus. So good.
Thanks for watching this video. Now look at this person. And again, thank you for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe, even though Burlick is bad. Anyways, bye.